Hello, my name is Travis McCarl, and welcome to another edition of Hamilton Youth Workforce Interview Series featuring leaders in youth advocacy. The goal of Hamilton Youth Workforce is to create a community-wide strategy to support high youth unemployment rates and assist youth with navigating labor market information and to provide helpful resources that may lead to employment. Our guest today is Erin Goetz, a Youth Navigator with Xperience Annex. We'll be chatting about a range of topics today, including youth employment, youth mental health, the Xperience Annex organization, and much more. So at this point, I will turn it over to Erin, and she can tell us a little bit about herself and an overview of her organization's goal involving youth employment.
Yeah, hi. First off, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. So my name's Erin, and I'm a youth navigator with the Xperience Annex, which is run by the City of Hamilton. And I work with youth to help them identify and achieve their goals in areas of employment and training and education. And I also support for referrals to housing and mental health services and community leadership and engagement opportunities. So as a youth navigator out of the Xperience Annex, I'm located on the fourth floor of the Central Library downtown, and I'm part of the City of Hamilton youth team. Our youth team is comprised of different workers from different areas within the City of Hamilton who work with youth directly. And our role is to work with individuals 18 to 29 and assist them with the 5 key areas or 5 pillars of our youth strategy. Those include employment, education, training, access to resources like mental health supports, education and training opportunities, as well as connecting with community connections like mental health resources, housing, and as well at the Annex, I just provide a safe space for youth to come and drop in and chat about whatever they like.
Awesome, that sounds great. Yeah, it sounds like you and the Youth Annex, Xperience Annex have done some great work. So, what are some successes your organization has experienced in 2022?
Yeah, so I would say that our biggest success in 2022 has been inviting our youth engagers back to the youth team. Our youth engagers are paid employees with the City of Hamilton, and they have a number of responsibilities. First, they act as a youth voice on our City of Hamilton youth team, and they provide peer-to-peer support in the community. They promote events and can participate in events as youth representation. And it's been great to invite them back now that we've reopened the annex to in-person services because they bring energy and enthusiasm and they act as a touch point in the youth community. They also help refer youth to services because youth are more likely to reach out to a peer than they would to an adult like myself. And they can either refer the youth to myself or they can refer youth, peer to peer to other services that they're knowledgeable about. And they're so enthusiastic and they have such great positive energy that it's been so wonderful to have them back.
That's great. So I heard you mention you reopened the Annex experience. When did that reopen?
Yeah, so the Xperience Annex reopened for in-person services in May of 2022. Previously, we had been shuttered because of COVID regulations. So now we're open 3 days a week. So I'm in office Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at the Central Library from 9 to 5, but I'm also available for virtual services as well. So Mondays and Fridays, virtual services, youth can text me, they can email me, they can connect with me in whatever way they see is best for them.
That's fantastic to hear that everything's reopening, and that it's also good to hear that youth can kind of contact you in a variety of ways, whether they feel comfortable in person and as well as virtual still. So, in opposition to the last question, what are some barriers or challenges your organization has experienced in 2022?
Yeah, so 2022 has been so exciting for us because everything's opening back up. And so we haven't really faced any major challenges yet. Our main focus is just promoting the youth team, promoting that the Xperience Annex is open and to those in-person services. We have found that COVID has had a mixed impact on youth coming back out to community events, to engaging. Some youth are really motivated to get back into the community in person, and other youth are a bit more tentative and because they've become accustomed to staying at home and doing things at home. So we're working right now to really encourage those youth who've been at home to come out in person to those events if they feel comfortable. And that's part of what our youth engagers do is they are at events as, youth engaging, being active in those events to try and encourage some of those youth to come out and participate again.
That's fantastic. Yeah, it's good to hear that you haven't really had challenges or struggles in regards to your organization. So that's always good news. Have you seen any barriers in particular for employers to hire more youth or just to hire youth as a whole?
Yeah, so in terms of barriers for youth employment, we're finding in some areas there's lots of competition. So for those high tier entry level post university jobs, there's lots of competition for those. People have been waiting for those jobs to open and now they're actively pursuing them. And as well, we're finding that the hidden job market is a huge factor right now in youth connecting with work. And it's all really about who you know. It's more important than ever to lean into your network for support if you're looking for work. And that's because there aren't any youth specific employment programs in Hamilton. No summer jobs for youth program, no subsidized employment programs run by the government. And that's a real gap in services, both for the youth that are seeking work and for the employers that are seeking to hire youth. And it's kind of hurting both of those sides of the arrangement. And that's why we're finding there's such an emphasis on that hidden job market and connecting with your network to be such a big piece in the youth job search right now. It's a huge part is just kind of who you know to find jobs right now.
Yeah, it's definitely been a struggle, I think, for a lot of employers to hire youth and for youth to find work, especially. So, how do you think that mental health plays a role in that, and how that's affected youth in regards to employment?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, with the youth that I'm working with, I found that between the lack of employment services and the limited resources for youth specific mental health support, youth are really frustrated. And of course, when you're struggling with your mental health, it can be hard to focus on finding and keeping a job. If your mental health isn't great, you can prevent you from showing up at best to your interview or from doing your best at a job, and that can limit or result in you losing opportunities. I should say, though, that I found that the youth that are coming to me for support for their mental health are open to talking about their mental health, are open to actively pursuing support for their mental health and engaging in support services. So that's really awesome to see that youth are saying, hey, like I'm struggling right now and I am looking for support and actively pursuing that support. Like everywhere else, though, the healthcare field is stretched thin, and that includes mental health resources. And like everywhere else, Hamilton would benefit from more youth-focused mental health services. That being said, we do have great resources in Hamilton for mental health support for youth. So we've been able, on the youth team, we've been able to make some great referrals to places like Alternatives for Youth or the Youth Wellness Center so youth can get that support they need. And like I said before, youth have been really receptive to receiving that support. And that's amazing to see that people are working towards themselves and acknowledging that they need support in other areas.
It's great to hear that that youth are coming forward and coming to you guys for mental health assistance. And I mean, for any youth watching this as well, feel free to reach out to Erin and to Xperience Annex if you're struggling with mental health.
Yeah, absolutely. I can help you in terms of getting a referral. If you just need a chat, there's lots of folks out here who are willing to listen and are looking to help you.
Fantastic. Yeah, we'll have some time at the end of the show to kind of plug all your socials and
Awesome.
everything. Cool. So, in your opinion, what industries do youth seem to be interested in working in?
Yeah, so for right now, because at the time of us filming this, it's the summertime. Um, Summer jobs and student jobs are what I'm working on the most right now. And that's just because it's the season. And again, because of that gap between youth and employers with the lack of summer jobs programs in Hamilton right now. Another area that I'm seeing a lot of interest in is social service jobs, child and youth work, addictions, other support jobs like that, because people have really been thinking about that for the last 2 years. And people are thinking, oh, I've experienced this. Maybe I want to get out there and help. And that might be something that I'm interested in. Another big field I'm seeing a lot of interest in is the trades. So youth that were in high school through the pandemic and were doing hands-on courses. And then as a result of going home and learning from home, those hands-on courses got stopped and kind of their path has been kind of stuttered a little. So lots of interest in reaching out for construction jobs or trades training and how to get back into that field after having their high school learning experience disrupted. In speaking with university students, there's a lot of interest in research-based positions and volunteer opportunities. Unfortunately, there's not a centrally located kind of central location that individuals can go to look for volunteer opportunities. So that makes it a little bit challenging if you are looking for volunteer opportunities. And again, that comes back to that hidden job network. You've got to really lean on who you know if you're looking for volunteer opportunities in Hamilton as well. And finally, I found that entrepreneurship is something that youth are really interested in. Either they're interested in being their own boss, or they're interested in starting their own business and kind of that like side hustle grind while they're working in something else, maybe pursuing their passion while working a job that's just going to support them.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. And I know you've mentioned a couple times about it's kind of all about who you know sometimes. So kind of just as a side question, do you have any like tips or advice on how youth can expand their networking and begin to kind of know more people that can help with their employment?
Yeah, absolutely. So, first off, talk to your friends if they're working, and then it might be scary, but talk to your friends' folks. You know, if their parents are working somewhere and you have interest in that industry, or maybe their aunts and uncles or people that they know, just start asking around. It can be challenging, it can be scary to ask those questions, but be brave, be bold, and say, hey, you know, I'm looking for work. Where do you think I should look? Have you heard of anything that you think might be a good fit for me? And just start those conversations. It's going to show a lot of initiative on your part, and the people around you will see that you're looking to pursue something. So just a matter of starting to talk to folks, starting to talk to folks that you wouldn't normally talk to.
Awesome. Yeah, that's fantastic. Fantastic advice. Definitely can be scary for sure, but it's worth it to kind of grow your network, especially if it's going to help in terms of employment.
Hmm.
So, what advice would you give youth when dealing with or trying to find employment?
Yeah. So for the youth, definitely ask around you. Like I said just right before, if you have adults in your life or other youth that are working, connect with them to see what's out there. Really like lean into that network. Like I said, it's the best way right now. And there are people looking to hire youth. So if you know someone who's working, ask them about opportunities. The world is waiting for you. There's lots of opportunities for youth out there. They want you to come out. You know, if you're going places, take a look at some of those post boards and see what's out there, because there are opportunities. Just kind of start to maybe move beyond your personal boundaries, those that comfort bubble. Take a step out. That can really help you.
Great advice. That's fantastic. We're hoping a lot of youth see this and see the other interviews as well, and start kind of taking some of this advice to heart and going out and having better luck finding employment.
Mm.
So, have you seen any shifts from the beginning of the pandemic compared to now in terms of hiring youth or youth employment now that we're kind of somewhat in the recovery stage from COVID?
Yeah, for sure. So for myself, I have only been in this job for a number of months, so I can't speak to the full length of the pandemic. What I can say now is the youth that are approaching me are looking for support for specific roles. They see a job they want to target that job. They're looking for support to tailor their resume. They're looking for support to prepare for the interview. Um, and assistance with and with that type of specific targeting. It's not so much I need a job right now because I'm struggling and I can't find anything, and so I'm going to take what's available out there. It's I know what I want and I need to figure out how to get there. So that's what I'm seeing right now with the youth that are approaching me.
Awesome, awesome. So, is there any kind of additional information or thoughts you'd like youth to know, or any kind of additional thoughts you'd want other youth organizations to know when trying to bridge the gap between youth and employment?
Yeah. For employers, I would say kind of the same advice to what I would give to youth. Like if you're looking to hire youth, speak with your workers, reach out. There are youth out there who want to work. Be transparent with your postings and what you're offering in terms of age and wage. And remember that once upon a time you were a youth with ideas and passions and you wanted to contribute. So be open with the youth and what youth have to say, because they have just amazing perspectives to bring to the table. And for youth, like I said earlier, networking can get you the job, but once you're in the door, you have to prove yourself and make your own way. So find your passion and pursue it. And to do that, you may have to try a lot of different things. but don't quit your job until you have another job. And don't compare yourself to your peers around you. We're all each on our own path, and there is no rush to move forward if the time isn't right for you. But if you're thinking about getting out there and you're not sure because you spent the pandemic at home, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. The whole world is waiting for you to join. Come on in. There's lots of excitement out here for you.
Awesome. Yes, thank you, Erin. I think you nailed everything right on the head. Thank you for all your amazing insight and for taking the time to speak with us today. We appreciate the work you do and the work with Xperience Annex, and we're super
Yeah.
excited we were able to come on the show and have you as a guest.
Yeah.
Hamilton Youth Workforce and Workforce Planning Hamilton will be having a roundtable discussion involving youth employment, and youth mental health in Hamilton. We'd love to have you
Awesome.
speak on today's topic,
Certainly.
and we invite everyone else watching to join in as well. We'll be announcing the date and time fairly soon on our social media and our weekly newsletter. For everyone watching, if you haven't already followed us on Instagram, you can do so at Hamilton Youth Workforce. And you can also follow our parent page, Workforce Planning Hamilton. You can find Workforce Planning Hamilton on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube. And you'll be able to find this episode on YouTube as well, along with a couple other episodes. And if you'd like to sign up for our weekly newsletter, you can do so at www.workforceplanningshamilton.ca. And Erin, if you want to plug any of your socials or anything, feel free to do so.
For sure. Well, I just want to first say thank you so much for having me. It's been a really fun experience. I do look forward to participating in that event, certainly. For any events that you're looking to participate in the city of Hamilton, for employment, for education, for community connections, you can follow at Hamont Youth, Hamont Youth on Instagram. And we would love to see you there. Awesome. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you very much for joining us. And yeah, thanks everyone for watching, and stay tuned for more episodes.